Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hello.
All right, guys, we're back. We were not doing a show last week, so we do have some stuff that we kind of need to catch up on. So we will talk about like the She-Hulk trailer and like the boys and stuff like that that everybody was kind of talking about last week. So we apologize if it's kind of rehashed information, but we would like to give our opinions on them. All right, so it's a real heavy trailer week, by the way, super heavy. So let's get right into it. There is a review that I did for Top Gun Maverick. It is up on our YouTube page, youtube.com/The Nerdpocalypse, and also in the Coming Distractions podcast feed. So check that out. It is a spoiler-free review of Tom Cruise's long-awaited sequel to Top Gun. I got a chance to watch, I've probably seen maybe half of season 1 of The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix. This is the series version of the Matthew McConaughey film. It feels like I don't want to say it feels like a Shonda Rhimes show because it doesn't necessarily, but it's not too many steps away from that. It's like watching the first couple of like seasons of Scandal where you were like, okay, like this is entertaining before it got like super crazy. Like it was just like a good kind of addictive show, right? I enjoy it. It's a pretty good show. Like I know your wife is watching this, right? Or she's probably already done. It's a show about
she's
lawyers.
at episode 9.
Yeah.
So
what does she think of it?
She enjoyed it, but she didn't enjoy it enough to tell me about it.
Okay. That feels about right for this show.
Yeah. And it's my understanding that this is closer to what the actual books are. Which, you know, I mean, it's a legal drama, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. She likes it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's not bad. Like the acting is perfectly serviceable. It's all fine. There's no like standouts. Like, oh wow, the guy who plays, you know, the lawyer is like really really good. He's fine. The guy who played the guy who's his like sort of investigator kind of guy, he's fine, right? He kind of reminds me of the guy from Scandal, like in that same way. His 2 ex-wives, they're fine, right? Like the cases are reasonable. Like the show is as like fine of a programming as you can get, and to me, that will be the death of Netflix. Actually, like. You either need stuff that's like real bad that people are like, wow, this is a piece of shit. Like they want to talk about it because it's kind of funny bad, or great, right? Like you can't have too much of this sort of middling stuff. And like, I feel like if this was put into the hands of like Amazon, who was like really super nailing like all these like book series converted to shows, like this show could be really super compelling and like really interesting. But I've never read the books, so maybe the books are not that deep either. I don't know, but it's fine. Like, if you want something to like just kind of like fold laundry to and watch on TV, Lincoln Lawyer is perfect. Like, it's perfectly fine.
And see, that's where I don't think that's where I disagree with you. I don't think Netflix will live and die by mediocre content. Because if it's just good enough to keep you watching, that's all they care about.
Yeah, that's all they care about. Yeah, that's true.
Right. Like not everything is gonna be a phenomenon. It's hard to get a phenomenon. You know what I mean? Especially like a one that's not based on, you know, some sort of other IP.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
But Netflix wants to be your cable, right? Like I have cable. There's a ton of shit on, but like nothing that I really need to watch, right? That's what Netflix wants to be. They want to be there for you. You know, that's why the whole Netflix and chill thing is like, yeah, like we just got a bunch of shit on, but like we know you ain't watching. But like,
I mean, the meme is basically Netflix is on, but we're gonna do something else. There's something better going on in our house, right? That's true,
right? And that means you would never cancel it, right? Whereas people who only care about Star Wars are gonna, you know, log in for Obi-Wan and then cycle off and then cycle back on in February and then cycle back off, right?
Nah, they ain't not going nowhere either. They're lying.
I mean, I know they ain't going nowhere, but that's what they claim they'll do. I mean, Amazon, look, I don't know why Amazon, the only reason Amazon doesn't have just like gangbuster TV at all times is because, yo, what you gonna do, yo? You gonna give up 2-day shipping?
Right, like they don't need it. they don't need it. Right, like
who cares?
Like the TV shows are a secondary reason for you to have a Prime account at this point.
The TV shows are a reason for you to go to Amazon.com.
That's quite literally it. That's quite literally it. And it's funny because like the quality of some of their shows are really good. Like it's really good. Like, but you know, the argument we have made since like Jack Ryan came out, right? Like that was kind of their one, I would argue like their big breakout show that really kind of put them, there were people like, oh shit, okay, like their original programming is good. I know some people watch Bosch. That was kind of their first one, but I don't think it kind of hit nearly as big with everybody. But I think that's like on like season 9, so I guess it's doing pretty well. But I think Jack Ryan was like the one where people are like, oh shit, this is actually like they're making really quality shit. We've been saying since then, like, you should probably update your webpage so it's not garbage, like to find the shows. And they're like, nah, who gives a fuck? It is confusing. Yeah. And while you're here, why don't you buy a razor? Like they don't give a shit, dude. They don't care. It's kind of amazing. But for them, like they've clearly figured out like that works for them. And it absolutely does, because people talk about like, hey, The Boys is great, or you know, Invincible is great. I also buy these other things all the time from Amazon, so it's like,
right, yeah, like they make it confusing for a reason, right? Like they have shows that are free to you right next to shows that you got to pay for. You know what I mean? Like you got to filter that shit out. And
yeah,
you know,
that's one of the real insidious fucking things they do with like, cause I have a Roku, and so like I use the Amazon Prime app to watch TV, right? So I don't actually go to Amazon like .com to do it. And like they literally have a filter that says like free to you. Like here's all the free shit. Yeah. By the way, like you could just add Showtime, you could just add Paramount Plus, you could just rent these movies. Like they're not
right. Like, you know, and I know they have the little Prime logo all the way up in the corner, dog-eared at the corner of the thing. Mm-hmm. Yo, it's so small, yo. It's so like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like,
no, they're super smart.
You're trying to confuse old people,
right? No, and look, I get it. Get that money, steal those old people's checks. I understand. Amazon slowly has become like Blockbuster. Like they are the place to rent movies, honestly. Like they just are.
Yeah.
99%. Well, actually, all the rentals I make are through Amazon. I never rent through anyone else.
I get it, right? Like I work in Arlington, Virginia, and I had to go there today and visit the HQ2 site. And they are working. They're working their asses off to get that thing built. So I get it. If you got to confuse a few people into buying some movies in order for HQ2 to get built, yeah, I get it. I understand what you're doing.
Yeah. Look, I mean, yeah, they're bastards. Like they are, but like at the same time, like when's Jack Ryan season 3 come out? Like I'm gonna watch it. You guys are jerks. Can't wait to tune in. Yeah, so Lincoln Lawyer, it's fine. Look, the new season of Barry came out. I am not caught up at all. I had tried to watch Barry twice, but I could not really get through the first episode. And it wasn't really the show's fault. Like I just don't, I like wasn't in the state of mind to watch a new show at the time. And so somebody messaged me, shout out to Charlie. He was like, hey, are you watching the new season of Barry? And I was like, actually, I've never like really gotten into the show. And I know tons of people were like, Barry's really good on HBO. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna check it out. And it's like, all right, cool. I rewatched the first episode like fully. Yeah, it's really good. Turns out everybody was correct. So I'm gonna try to plow through that. I'm digging it. Like Bill Hader, if people don't know, is actually like a pretty decent actor. Like as not just comedy. And this is like he's like a depressed hitman who decides that he wants to become an actor. But like, if you've ever seen him in who was the chick who played Cheetah in Wonder Woman 1984?
Yeah, the comedian.
Yeah, I forget her name. But the two of them were in a Kristen Wiig. The two of them were in a movie called The Skeleton Twins, which is a movie that's like about depression and stuff like that. It's like a very serious, but like they have like funny moments because they're both comedians. Where they both put in tremendous performances actually, and actually he is really, really quite good in it. So I'm not surprised that he can kind of do a slightly dramatic turn. So yeah, like I'm digging it. So I'll continue on with that, but I'm digging it so far.
I'm never surprised. I'm never surprised when a comedian can do drama because like that's what comedy is, right? Tragedy plus timing. So I get it.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch Barry. Everyone who's seen it says it's really good. So
it's a cool premise. It's a cool premise.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and catch up.
All right. Go ahead and defend this one. Me. I was immediately offended. I turned it off after 2 seconds.
I watched Ricky Gervais' Supernature. You did too. And,
of course, I loved it. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was funny, man. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny. Look, I get that there's the trans community and they feel like beat down and stuff like that. And I'm not here to, tell you to get over it or whatever, right? Like if you feel how you feel. Right. But I don't know, man. I thought it was funny. I really did. And he's not he explains what, I mean, he kind of gives himself an out and explains what satire is and then proceeds to, but he gives it to everybody with both barrels, man. And the difference between this and Chappelle's last stand-up involving trans observations, jokes, whatever.
They were not jokes.
Is that Ricky Gervais is making jokes and they're funny. Whereas Dave Chappelle was just, I'm Team Turf.
He was just ranting.
Yo, that's not a joke, yo. Like Dave Chappelle Dave Chappelle's career has had a similar trajectory to George Carlin, but like from a super black perspective. Whereas George Carlin, he kind of came up in clubs and stuff, and he was like seeing George Carlin in a suit with like slick back hair is fucking weird, man.
Yeah, it is weird.
Like that's how he started, right? And then he evolved into basically a guy giving very funny TED Talks, who was hyper, like super liberal and progressive. Like the uber leftists nowadays really do need to watch some George Carlin and realize how you approach people and how you talk to people about this stuff, right? Because he was incredibly down to earth but he pulled no punches, right? Like he might be like he's in the running for the funniest person to ever live, is what I'm saying. Like that's how good.
Oh yeah, I mean, arguably people say that it's between Carlin and Pryor, and I think like whichever one you choose is a completely valid argument to me.
Yeah, they're both sides. They're two sides of the same coin, man.
Yeah, they are.
And Dave Chappelle is at that stage, right? But instead of being like a super progressive, bleeding heart liberal, he's very much I don't believe Dave Chappelle is like a racist or a bigot or shit like that. I don't think so. Right? Like nothing that he has done or said that is not on a stage performing leads me to believe that. But at the same time, he's turning into an old black man. And old black men are fucking bitter. And they, and I'm not saying it's not right.
Right. It's not necessarily valid, right? Perspective.
Isn't right. Like I get it.
Not the trans part. You're just saying just being bitter
just like being life. Bitter. Just being bitter at life because life beats us down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it beats us down in a different way than it beats other people down. Like it just, that's my opinion, right? And but the problem is, he's not being funny when he says it. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind a good rant, right? Like Dennis Leary made his living off of ranting.
Right.
Right.
Like, that's his whole career.
That's his entire career.
Right, but it works.
But it's funny. Right. It's funny and it works. And some of these last Chappelle specials haven't been funny. They've just been an old man giving a TED talk, or as I like to call it, a tut talk. Because he's like, he's kind of like, you know, a hotel.
Right.
But, and I'm not saying like I hate Dave Chappelle. No, I'm going to watch his next special because I think that nigga funny, man. I really do.
I mean, my thing after his last special is I want him to get better, like on that topic. Like I do. I don't even want you to just like not talk about it, because then it's like, well, dude, you still have those views. I want you to get better on the topic. And where, like you said, like the Carlin comparison is a perfect one, right? Which is, as you reach that top echelon, where you should be going is being like, yo, I am so far above all of this shit. Like your perspective should change. Like his perspective is like below. It's like really fucking weird. And I feel like maybe it'll never change.
It's really weird coming from a minority, yo. Like it just is.
It is.
It's very odd coming from a minority. For the life of me, I will never understand why black people got a problem with the LGBTQ community.
Like, yo, they're getting the same bullshit we get, yo. Like using the same justified bullshit that bigots have used against us. Oh, what about the Bible says? Like, you know, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's the same fucking place. But like Ricky Gervais stand-up, Supernature, is really fascinating. One, I like Ricky Gervais because the Brits comedy, like really good stand-up comedians, they don't their filter does not exist. It doesn't exist.
They don't care, yo. They don't care because they don't live, because they weren't brought up in America, right? Like
right, they don't live and die on that type of shit, right? Like Jimmy Carr is a perfect example. Like Jimmy Carr, he going, look, don't watch a Jimmy Carr stand up if you are easily offended by anything. Right. By anything. And that doesn't mean you're weak. No, yo, Jimmy Carr is just going to hit you on everything. Like he just does.
Like Jimmy Carr is a bit of a one-trick pony, but like he does that trick very well, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And it's just where people grew up. It's like that we don't, like in America, they don't want us to hear swear words on television, and they don't want us to see nudity on television. You know what I mean? Whereas when I went to France and London,
shit's everywhere. Like, it's all over TV.
Like nigga, they were having game shows with full frontal male nudity and shit.
Yeah, no sex, because sex is not, like, ironically, even though we came, like Europeans, you know, pilgrims came from there, they were more puritanical, right? Like they were the like crazy religious people that left. Where Europe was like, here's a dick. Like, who gives a fuck? There's a vagina. Who gives a fuck? Right? But we are cool with violence where they're not. Like, British shows, yeah, they'll have violence in it. But, like, it was funny. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and then we'll get back to Supernature. I was just talking to a friend of mine at work the other day, and he was saying, because we were talking about the latest mass shooting, and he was saying, like, him and his wife watch a lot of, like, BritBox like shows, right? Like, and so they watch a lot of like these British crime shows and stuff like that. And he goes, the one thing that you notice is just cultural wise, like when a gun is involved, like when a gun crime happens on there, he's like, the whole fucking show stops. You're like, we've got to track this down. Like, it's so fucking serious because just the nature of Britain, like they don't have gun crime, right? Because guns are not, you know, accessible to citizens. So like their perspective is different. And like in comedy, their perspective is different, right? Like one, like they just drop the word cunt all the time. Like, so I find it hilarious, right? Like we're just like, oh, you can't say the C word, right? But in Supernature, like Mike said, he explains what satire is, right? To get the audience to be like, okay, so me saying it isn't the same as like he makes a joke about like me making a joke about a disabled baby isn't the same as me like hurting a disabled baby. I'm joking about it. He's like, I'm not dragging this disabled baby on stage and punching it, right? Like there's a difference, right? But like he does that, and I'm sure some people would say, well, that's just a cop out so that you can say whatever you want. But like if you look at the guy's comedy and you look at the guy's interviews outside of it, it is very clear. Like Ricky Gervais is a super liberal person, dude. Like he really fucking is. He spends a lot of his time just bashing like religious bigots. Like that's kind of his big thing. Not even just religious people, just bigots. Like that's his whole thing, right? So like the idea of him doing that and then also being like anti-trans or anti-gay doesn't really make any sense. Like it just doesn't. And he even says it during the show. He was like, here are my real feelings on it. I support trans rights like I support all human rights. He's like, and I support them just like everybody else, and I treat them like everybody else. That's why I put them into my comedy, because we're all involved in this. And like, it's funny, you see all these articles from like Variety and all sorts of, he made these trans jokes, but they don't talk about like the dead kid jokes or the Holocaust jokes or the Chinaman jokes. You don't mention any of that. So are you offended by the trans jokes and nothing else? Because that is the thing that we're all talking about. Either you find his comedy offensive or you don't. Like you can't just pick and choose because it's convenient, because it's like not the hot topic to talk about. And it's clear it's a joke. And he's not and the funny thing is his jokes are literally he quite literally says it, taking the absurd perspective to point out how absurd the arguments against trans people are. Like I feel like a lot of people slamming it didn't actually watch it or didn't get the joke. Like that's the difference between him and Chappelle. Chappelle wasn't joking. He was just sitting there ranting for 45 minutes.
Right. Like it's yeah, and look, if you are the person being made fun of, right? Like I'm trying to put this into perspective, right? Like if a comedian came up there and was just like making fun of black people in a joking way, right? Like I can take a joke, but at the same time, like if I feel like it's just like, wow, literally everybody's joking about us. Like literally everybody. Right. I can see how that would get on people's nerves. Absolutely. I really can. Yep, and absolutely. I'm not here to say you're wrong if you feel that way. I think I thought it was funny because I'm not in that community also. You know what I mean? Like, right. So I think I understand. I think I understand where the ire comes from. If you're a part of that community. If you're not a part of that community, don't watch it. Like, just don't watch the special. Right.
Yeah, because I feel like people are trying to be offended for others, and that feels weird to me. Like that feels weird to me. It doesn't mean you can't be offended. I don't mean it to say like, wow, okay, like because there are definitely jokes where I'm like, oof, like that's a rough joke. Like it's just a rough joke, and like even though I find it funny, I'm like, oh fuck, that's just a rough joke. I get that, but like I find it weird to be more offended than the people who are actually being made fun of. Like that feels weird to me. That feels performative to me.
Yeah, like don't be more offended. Just be there to ride for them. You know what I mean? Like,
be like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. I get it, right? Like you say that.
Like it's fucked up, and if you need help, I got your back.
Right. Exactly. But, like and like honestly, and maybe it's just like my perspective, and that's perfectly fine. I'm 100% willing to cop to this. Like I've not seen anyone like major trans folks in the news and stuff like that talk about it. Like the Chappelle thing, you saw trans people like, yo, this is fucked up, right? Like I was like, oh, okay, I didn't need them to tell me how fucked up it was. It was obvious, but it was like, okay, this is clearly past just people being like mad for people. Like this is really legitimately hitting that community. I've not seen any of that like this time, which is interesting. I don't know. Maybe they haven't seen it yet. I would find that to be hard to believe, but like, or maybe it's just like, maybe they're American and they just don't fuck with Ricky Gervais like that. Maybe. I don't know. But I have not seen the same sort of vitriol. So.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look, man, if you are a fan of Ricky Gervais's comedy, I personally am, It's pretty goddamn funny. Because, like, just keep in mind, there's, like, maybe 4 trans jokes in the whole thing. Like, it's not the Chappelle thing where it's like half the thing is that. Like,
right, where the latter half of Chappelle's thing was just him, like, coming to grips with the fact that trans people exist and he don't understand it, right? Like, no, like, Ricky Gervais's thing is just like 3 or 4 jokes. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about these Chinese people. Let's talk about baby Hitler.
Right. Yeah, he spends more time on baby Hitler than he does.
Oh man,
that shit was funny.
Look, I saw Ambulance, and Ambulance is on Peacock. So if you have my Peacock,
nigga, okay.
Look,
I'm definitely going to watch it on Peacock. Yeah,
it's worth watching. I mean, if you like Michael Bay,
I bet it is.
If you like Michael Bay, it's worth watching, right? Look, everybody gives Michael Bay crap. I don't know why. You all like a Michael Bay movie. You all like probably a bunch of them. I think people give him crap because of those Transformers movies. Because
they're not good.
The first one was okay. The rest of them were not good at all. Right, and he hung around way too long with them Transformers movies. But nah, yo, Ambulance, it's a good old fashioned Michael Bay movie.
It looks it, man. It looks it.
It's fun, man. It's fun, and look, you can tell when somebody gets a new toy. Oh, nigga, somebody showed Michael Bay what a drone is.
Oh,
nigga, he's just got sweeping drone shots. He's got chase scenes where people are running and a drone is following them. Like it's very obvious. It's very obvious that these are drone shots. You know what I mean? Because they're moving way too fast. They're moving. They're getting covered. They're in really, really tight like angles. Like Michael Bay has always been like a guy that he was a car director. Right. And so he's not afraid to like get low, right, on the ground and shit, and try to get some real cool shots. He does that with these drones, and if I may help you, famous director, the drone should be a seasoning and not a garnish and not an ingredient. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of them, yo.
He was like, he sprinkled that shit on everything. It's like Kenneth Branagh in the first Thor movie, Dutch angles. I'm like, all right, yo, I get it. Yeah. Like, I get it. We got it.
Like, how many drone transition shots do we need, yo?
Drone transit? All right.
Like, they're literally just transition shots. Like, all right, yo. All right.
Look, I'm all in.
It's super fun, man. It's super fun. The script is what it is, right? Like,
yeah, I bet it is. Right.
I mean, Yahya Abdul-Mateen plays this former Marine who is down on his luck, and he needs a loan from his brother Jake Gyllenhaal to get experimental surgery that is not covered by insurance because it is experimental, right? So he goes, and his brother is like runs like a chop shop or whatever, right? And he goes and he asks for a loan, and he meets up with him, and a whole crew is there, right? A crew of big burly stuntmen, right? And Jake Gyllenhaal is, and one of the crew members like, is this the guy? And Yahya Abdul-Mateen realizes, oh shit, you about to do some shady shit, right? He was like, come on, man, like, this is the last job, right? Because apparently they come from a family of bank robbers, and
the cops are definitely not looking at them ever.
Right. And the bank robbery goes awry. A cop gets shot.
As you do.
They hijack an EMT, an ambulance, and an EMT, a cop, and these two adopted brothers are running from the might of the LAPD and all of its forces 2 hours. This movie's long. Like, it's a Michael Bay movie.
I was going to ask how long it is. Yeah.
It's too long. It's 2 hours and 16 minutes. It's too long for for something with this flimsy of a premise. But it's fun. It's fun. The shootout in the bank that goes awry is a fucking blast, right? Like, it's gross, right? Like, there's some bloody shit going on, man. There's one death that I am not going to spoil. It's something out of a fucking cartoon, dude. Like, it's hilarious. And,
yeah, it looks hilarious.
But look, it's a good time.
All right, I'm gonna check it out.
Go ahead, all you people who pretend that y'all don't like Michael Bay movies.
No,
look. Like Michael Bay, like, people reference Michael Bay movies in this movie because, like, this nigga's like self-indulgent.
That's wild, dude. That's wild. We're gonna need some Bayhem. Yeah, all right, that's fine.
It's like one guy's like, yo, you gotta ask the girl out. Remember what Sean Connery said? Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Like,
all right, that's The Rock. All right, come on. You gotta relax.
I mean, I like that line like a lot, but calm down.
Look, here's the thing. The Rock's a great movie, dude. Like, The Rock is a great movie. Yo. It is. It's ridiculous, but I love it. Like, I don't think you'd be hard pressed, like, action movie fans. You'd be hard pressed to find a true action movie fan who doesn't like at least one Michael Bay movie.
Come on, yo. Bad Boys, the first one's great. The Rock, great. Armageddon, great. Pearl Harbor, I mean, that was that nigga's idea of a love story.
That movie is horrible. But the action sequences are pretty fun. They are pretty fun.
Right. Bad Boys 2, I mean, Bad Boys 2, the script it's fine, but it's not as good as the first Bad Boys. The Island, I actually really like The Island.
No, that's his best movie, in my opinion. That's actually his best movie. That's the one with Scarlett Johansson? Like cloning shit or whatever. Yeah. That was a good movie.
McGregor. Transformers, the first one's great. Revenge of the Fallen, Dark on the Moon, Age of Extinction, those aren't good. Pain and Gain is great.
Yeah, Pain and Gain is great. Yep, it is.
The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, I didn't watch that.
No, that's the fucking Jim from The Office, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't watching that. No, that was right wing propaganda. I'm not watching that bullshit.
And Six Underground and Ambulance. So
look, Six Underground was fucking. It was fun, man. That was a fun ass movie.
Look, if you like Six Underground, you're gonna like Ambulance.
Well, I'm gonna watch it. Look, Six Underground was a good time. They're gonna make a sequel to it. I guess 7 Underground or 7 Above Ground. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll fucking watch it. That first movie was fucking ridiculous. All right, Ambulance. Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. Topics this week. Go for it.
The Uncharted movie is getting a sequel. That's no surprise. Nope. From what I understand, that movie did very well. And this is like the point of making this movie was to make more movies about this.
That is correct.
I will watch the first one. I will. I just
you tried.
I tried, and I didn't get very far because it's very difficult for me to take Spider-Man seriously, Tom Holland seriously, as like Nathan Drake in his early years.
It feels weird.
It does feel weird. But Uncharted is ripe for the franchise is ripe for being in a movie because it is essentially an interactive movie. Where Nathan Drake plays an everyman who is an expert climber and has a body count that will make the Terminator jealous, right? Like he kills a bunch of pirates, guys. He kills a bunch of fucking pirates to the point where they even kind of addressed it in the last game, but then still killed a bunch of fucking people.
It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not surprised that this is getting a new this is getting a sequel. And look, if it goes the way of the games, the sequel will be the first game was fine. The sequel will be great. And then the third one will be like all right, and then the fourth one will be the best one. So
They're gonna make 4 of these.
Well, they made 4 games. And look, if this makes money, they're gonna keep making these motherfuckers as long as it takes to squeeze all the blood out of that Uncharted rock.
Yeah, no kidding. Look, I haven't watched Uncharted. Like, I think in the hands of a studio that doesn't suck, I think it probably would have been good. But that had this Sony stink on it, and Sony's not good at this. They're just not good at making movies anymore. They're not. Well, I'm not sure they ever were. If I'm being honest.
It is a Sony branded. Like they even had the PlayStation brand, like jingle. Like Netflix or like Marvel and DC have their like little stinger credits and shit.
Yeah,
Sony has one, and this ain't going nowhere. So I hope you all you Uncharted fans are very happy. So there was Star Wars Celebration has been all this week, right? And a bunch of new Star Wars toys and stuff coming out, and a bunch of new shows are getting announced, and one of them is Star Wars Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law. I always get Jude Law and Ewan McGregor mixed up. I was like, what the fuck is Obi-Wan doing in a Star Wars Skeleton Crew show?
He and everything. No, if you need to remember, Jude Law is the one who cannot just like stop having kids, like with all these random women. Like Jude Law cannot keep his dick in his pants. Like that's Jude Law. I like Jude Law though, man. Like I really do. I like that guy.
Yeah, he was Watson in those mediocre Sherlock Holmes movies that I like.
Yeah, he was also in Captain Marvel, right? He's in the MCU.
Oh yeah. He was, prove to me that you are worthy of your powers by not using them. And then she was just like, "Yo,
fuck that." I don't have to prove shit to you. That was the best ending ever. Like, get the fuck out of here.
You saw it coming a mile away, but like sometimes, like when you know it's coming, like it's,
it's satisfying. Absolutely, it's the Indiana Jones guy.
Jude Law will lead a new Star Wars series for Disney Plus called Star Wars Skeleton Crew. The series is the same one that director John Watts of the Spider-Man Home trilogy revealed this month, and it will premiere sometime in 2023. Watts said that Skeleton Crew will offer a different perspective on the Star Wars universe from a fresh set of eyes, which I think is always welcome.
So
the series.
Oh, go ahead.
The series, which had a working title, Grammar Rodeo, is set after the events of Return of the Jedi, around the same time as The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. So I am more than fine with getting away from like the Skywalker saga and stuff like that, and fleshing out your universe.
So this is actually, interestingly enough, it says Star Wars Skeleton Crew will focus on a group of kids around 10 years old from a tiny little planet who get lost in the Star Wars galaxy. The series will be about their journey home. And while Ford said the show was about kids, it's not necessarily for kids. That's kind of an interesting perspective. We haven't gotten a purely kid perspective in the Star Wars universe yet. So, I mean, I know people would say, well, what about Anakin? But it wasn't really from his perspective, right? So
no, the story was about him, but it wasn't like through his eyes. You know what I mean? Like he was just a player in that. So that screams Star Wars meets Stranger Things to me.
Yeah,
like, that's what it says.
I think that's exactly right. Stranger Things will be over by then, or just about wrapped up. It's perfect timing.
Yeah. So all right, I'm down with it. Let's do it.
Also, just as a side note, that actually is kind of an interesting perspective to deal with, because right now, like you and I grew up with the original trilogy, right? We were part of that generation of fucking olds. Like, shout out to our buddy Leonardo. Like he grew up in the prequel trilogy, right? Like that was that's where he kind of started his journey. But like now he's coming up on being an old Star Wars fan. Right. So like now this is the next generation. This is likely trying to pull in the next generation of Star Wars super fans of immediately going to a kid-centric thing. And actually, I take back what I said earlier. There has not been any Star Wars kid-centric things. That's not true. The Ewok two Ewok movies were completely kid-centric. Like that's the whole idea was to bring in the young perspective. Now, those movies were not great. I would argue not even good. But by the way, you can watch both of them on Disney Plus, incidentally. But like, I think that's what they're aiming for is something that, yes, it's for all Star Wars fans, but it's going to be likely to pull in that next generation, which is kind of smart. I like it.
Yeah. So we'll see. Sony is turning Gran Turismo into a movie.
Oh, cool.
Is it a movie?
I don't know. It's a thing.
I thought it was going to be like a series, right? Because they're turning God of War into a series, right? And they're turning Horizon into a television series. I thought
Horizon Zero Dawn, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw that earlier today. They're turning that into it's a TV show or a movie, one of the two. But I think it's a television show. I think it would work better as a television show.
Probably.
With Horizon, I mean, those games are pretty good, but I just can't get with that world, man. Like that world is set in a post-apocalyptic future, and like machines have decided to look like dinosaurs for some reason.
Yeah,
and
it's a series.
And it's a series, okay. And everyone is dressed in like weird future Native American like
garb.
Yeah, like it's weird, man.
It's a bit weird. The game looks awesome though. I mean, the clips I've seen of the game are very cool.
It's a very beautiful looking game, but like, who is this white person with red hair and dreadlocks and in this weird
offensive
techno Native American wear? Why is Lance Reddick wearing like blue face paint and has like a future like Native American like tunic and shit? Like it's I don't like the aesthetic.
Like, is it that in the future, like they just ran out of clothes? Like, what happened? Like, why did they regress in clothing? It feels weird,
right? Like
they got like tech bows and shit, and they're like, nah. But this pelt of animal fur is where it's at. Like, why? They'll put on a jacket. They're like, nah, fuck that. It seems very weird. The aesthetic is I will happily admit is very weird, but I'm interested to see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't care about that series, and I wish I did. But it is what it is. Sony and PlayStation Productions, whose most recent video game to film collaboration Uncharted grossed more than $400 million in the global box office this year. And they're getting behind the wheel for a movie adaptation of the iconic driving game Gran Turismo. The project is in very early development, and Neil Blomkamp is eyed to direct. What is the plot of this racing game movie? What is the plot of this racing game movie? I mean, it could literally be anything involving cars at this point, right?
Didn't they make they made Need for Speed, right? That was starring Jesse from Breaking Bad. That shit looked like garbage. Like, that movie looked real bad, man. Is that 2014? What was it? What was the plot of that movie?
Well, at least the Need for Speed games, some of them did have plots to them. Like, some of them had story modes to them. Gran Turismo, the game, prides itself on being like and the most realistic like adaptation simulation of driving there is. There is no story. It is just for the love of driving cars.
Well, maybe that's what it's about. Maybe it's a Gran Turismo documentary. Like, it's just a guy driving a really fancy car.
I mean, like at first I thought this was going to be a series, and I'm like, well, the only way this makes sense as a series is if it's done in that Drive to Survive style, right?
That could work.
Where you follow like different people and stuff like that, but like it's a movie,
like a narrative film,
right?
That feels weird. It feels very weird.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It feels like whatever story they come up with will feel ludicrous. Like on the Gran Turismo like racing circuit or whatever. Like, but the game is about driving. Like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Yeah.
Yeah, so, like you can't like it's about more than just like fancy looking cars. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I don't know, man.
So the plot for Need for Speed, the 2014 Tour de Force, goes as follows. Toby Marshall is a former race car driver who owns his late father's garage, Marshall Performance Motors, in Mount Kisco, New York, where he and his friends tune performance cars. Struggling to meet ends meet, he and his crew participate in street races after hours to make money. Okay.
I mean, that's all you really need for a Need for Speed, right?
I mean, that's barely not the plot to the first Fast and Furious. They just stole shit.
Right.
I think they really thought Need for Speed was going to be like, that was going to be the next Fast and Furious franchise. That shit did not go anywhere.
No, not
at all. Was like, yeah. They were like, this is my next paycheck.
They got Jesse Pinkman fresh off of Breaking Bad. Like, yeah, buddy, we're gonna make you a movie star, kid.
It's like,
nah.
Here's what's not gonna happen. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Make sure you go to manscaped.com, use the code THOSENERDS for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Look, this thing is pretty amazing. You can get the Lawnmower 4, which is their signature razor clippers with a LED light on it to get your nether regions, including, as Micah had to disgustingly point out on this latest episode of Black on Black Cinema, the perineum. So Father's Day is coming up. So if you want to do something for your dad or the dad in your life, go to manscaped.com, use the promo code THOSENERDS, 20% off. Again, free worldwide shipping. Next up, first look at Zolo. Zolo Mariduena as Blue Beetle. I'm going to throw up some images here so folks can take a look on video. Yeah, look, I think this looks pretty cool, right? Like, here's a comparison of the toy versus sort of spy shots of the actual costume, which I think looks really good. And then here's Zolo. Get a little bit better look at him with and without the helmet. What do you think? What do you think of these images, man? What do you think of this design?
It is. It looks good. It does look good, and even these spy shots look pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was impressed by.
Yeah, spy shots are usually not the best arbiter to kind of judge these things because, like, they're not. It's not lit the way that it's supposed to be lit and stuff like that, but they do look good. Here's my problem. At this point, most like 80 to 90% of wardrobe for these comic book movies and comic book properties look good. I'm gonna need something. I'm not worried about that anymore from these companies. Like, unless it's something like completely batshit crazy.
Right.
I'm not worried about that.
Or it's like your favorite character ever, and you're really concerned that they get, I don't know, perhaps a man in a metal suit wearing a tunic. Like, you want to make sure that looks good. But besides that, yes, I agree with you. Like, they've kind of, for the most part across the board, they've kind of nailed that down.
Yeah, they've taken it very, very seriously, right? Like, so, and even with designs that are not traditional, these movies have made them better, right? Like Captain America's outfit looks fucking ridiculous in the comic books, right? Like it just does. I've always hated the wings.
They look ridiculous. They do.
They do, yo. They do. But in the movies, I mean, his suit looks amazing.
Yeah,
right?
It does. It's one of the best ones, actually.
Right. So at this point, they pulled off Thor, for God's sakes. They pulled off Thor.
Yeah.
In multiple different looks.
And it's gotten better. Every time it's actually gotten better, which is crazy.
Right. So I'm not worried about what these actors look like in these things anymore. I just want the show to be good. That's all I want. I just want the show to be good.
Well, I think this is a movie. Incidentally,
this is a movie. I thought this was an HBO Max show, but if it's a movie, that's fine.
Yeah, I thought it was an HBO Max actual movie. But either way, yeah. Look, I do think the costume looks good. I'm hoping that they nail it and they actually give him a real it is actually a movie. And they give him a real script that like lets him dig in. Because look, this kid is from Cobra Kai. He's actually a pretty decent actor. Like he's not bad at all. And like he can do, the level of emotions and stuff like that that are required for like that show. So I assume that he could do that for this movie with no problem. But yeah, I think it's a really good interpretation. I look forward to it. I'm not some like big Blue Beetle fan or anything like that. But look, if you don't tease Booster Gold at the end of this movie, what are you even doing? Right? Like you gotta give a moment of the two, because that's like at this point, like they are intrinsically connected, and you need that team up. So like just do it. Just get it done and have someone really fun play Booster Gold who can really, kind of Johnny Cage it up. But yeah, I think this is I think that looks pretty fun. So here's the thing. It's really weird that we are coming upon like our childhood. Right.
I'm sorry. This is the first time I've seen this.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought I would explain this. Micah's response is very real. It's a very weird thing that, what the fuck, man? It's a very weird thing that we are coming upon a time that certain characters from our childhood or from our parents' childhood are now making it into the public domain, and those like exclusive rights to those characters are no longer protected. Because when that happens, anybody can make a movie about these particular characters. One such incident has arisen. There is a independent horror film being made called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, because Winnie the Pooh has now made it into the public domain. So, yes, Disney can still make Winnie the Pooh things and continue making quality Winnie the Pooh stuff for kids, but also sick fucks can also make things because there's nothing stopping them. But the upcoming horror title, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, will be a, quote, grisly retelling of the Winnie the Pooh legend.
What?
Yeah. There is, you can see there's pics below where it seems like Winnie the Pooh and some sort of pig man are definitely going to kill a large-breasted woman in a hot tub. They paint Get Out on a window in blood. I think it's some sort of like crazy home invasion horror movie. There's a scene of Winnie the Pooh, I assume, standing on someone holding a sledgehammer about to murder them. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do these things need to live? So I guess the question here is two questions. Are you going to watch this?
The only way I would watch this is if Academy Award winning actor Nicolas Cage was Winnie the Pooh.
Right. I feel like this is like prime for a Nicolas Cage movie. Or he's the hero against an evil Winnie the Pooh. Like that's also fine.
Yeah, like I would be fine with that. I feel like this would be something so like oddball, so screwball that like it would attract him to do it.
Right. So
that's the only reason I would watch it.
right. So one, would you watch this? Two, is this an argument for keeping these characters out of the public domain, or an argument against keeping these characters out of the public domain?
Look, I don't mind these characters being in the public domain. I don't mind stuff like this existing, because it lets us know who to avoid. Look, I mean,
I get it.
Look, I think this was an old Family Guy joke at one point. I remember seeing something where and it was animated, and it was like, oh, it's Winnie the Pooh, and when somebody tried to take his honey, and Winnie the Pooh's a bear, and he did what bears do when you take their honey, when you take shit from them, right? Like, he viciously attacked whoever tried to take that honey. This is different. This just feels like a serial killer, going around wearing a pig mask and a piglet pig mask, and it was Piglet, it's Piglet. Like, what do you?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it is Piglet. That's fucking disturbing, dude. That's super fucking disturbing.
It's Piglet and Tigger. Tigger gonna be a black guy, right?
Of course. Look, if I was making this movie, he would be.
Yeah. And he'd be really tall, like a basketball player, right? Because Tiggers love to bounce, right? And Tiggers love to jump. And Tiggers
they're gonna use those phrases, as they're murdering people. Like, this is gonna be wildly unacceptable.
Fucking Tigger loves to bludgeon, right?
Yeah, like, exactly. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Like, if I get access to this, I'm gonna watch it.
This is this is why I'm not going to watch it. Okay, and I'm being 100% serious when I say this. That's why I'm looking you dead in the camera. Okay,
please don't.
My parents have pet names for one another, and the pet name that my mother has, that my father calls my mother, is Pooh. Pooh.
That's weird.
So no, I'm not watching this. I can't.
Your mom is going to be a homicidal maniac in this childhood classic. Jesus Christ. Yeah, if I can get my hands on it, I'm definitely going to watch it, and I'm going to tell you all about why you shouldn't have, and why I probably shouldn't have. Next up, Daredevil series in the works at Disney with Matt Corman and Chris Ord set to write. Cool. I'm surprised that they're going to do a Disney Plus series. I'm surprised they don't just do a movie. That's kind of what I always thought. Like, we had a series. Like, get these guys onto the silver screen, man. Like, the whole crew. But I mean, this bodes well for everyone who was involved, like all the major actors in the original series. Because I can't imagine they don't bring them all back. They've all wanted to come back.
I would prefer television if I were these actors, right? Because television is constant work, whereas movie is, one big payday. Television is a little more secure. And the way that Marvel Disney has everything set up, who's to say you can't be in a movie? I mean,
yeah, you can do both. That's absolutely true.
His name was in Spider-Man. So, right. And you probably don't have to, it would probably not be a major commitment like a movie. You know what I mean? Like, you can go off and do multiple television shows at the same time if you needed to. So, look, I'm for this. I'm very curious to see what this looks like now, because Daredevil, especially season 3, is incredibly like adult, and I understand that Disney has their parental advisory and stuff up there now, but like, it's still Disney, right? Like, it's still sitting there, next to Spidey and his amazing friends. You know what I mean? So I'm very curious at the tone of this, because I really like Daredevil the way it was, and I'm super curious. I'm not worried per se.
You're just curious.
I'm super curious.
Yeah, I get that.
If this leads to the other shows coming back, super curious what they're going to do with Luke Cage. Not from a a style perspective, like I could see them keeping the neo blaxploitation vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But where we left off, Luke Cage was kind of like a fucking crime boss, nigga. Like he was. So I'm curious how they handle that. I imagine that all of these are going to be tame, and I'm super curious about Iron Fist, right? Like Iron Fist was largely like one of the biggest failures of the MCU, but that second season was getting better.
It was okay.
It was getting better, and Colleen Wing is the Iron Fist now in the series, and you know, Legend of the Sunken Chest, he had like 2 glowing guns and shit. I mean, yo, he does, yo. Like you're a workout guy, yo. Like that's gotta offend you, yo.
Like, yo, it did, yo. Like, bro, like, come on.
He's supposed to be a living weapon, yo.
He didn't, yo. You know, like being a living weapon. You know what's a living weapon in a video game? A fucking dildo at one time. So, like, you know, like a push-up. And I go, like, bench press once. Just do it once. God damn. The Legend of the Sunken Chest. That's fucked up. It's like it was the worst. I am interested in that. I mean, look, I'll be honest. I was not. I mean, I think I've made my views clear on Iron Fist. I think it was not very good at all. But I also have to acknowledge that that's under like Jeff Loeb, and like a lot of shit he did was garbage.
Jeff
What's
Loeb
that?
sucks. Like
Jeff
Loeb sucked. He
does.
wrote
He
Ultimatum. Go read Ultimatum if you want to. If you want to read something that fucking sucks.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like the Ultimate Universe was going fairly well, and he was like, "Nah, fuck this." Like I'm just going to ruin everything.
They got a mandate saying, "Hey, we're gonna end this soon, so figure out a way to end it." And boy, did he end it!
No, but he didn't. Christ. No, dude, it didn't end then. It went on for years after that. Like,
that's right, it did.
He just wrecked the main part of the universe. Like Ultimates 1 and 2 was pretty good. I was like, yo, this is actually pretty fun. And then it was like Ultimatum came out. I was like, what? Quicksilver and Wanda are fucking each other? What are you doing? Nah, dude.
Fucking giant man. Fucking
the blob.
The blob ate the wasp, said it tastes like chicken, and then Giant Man came and bit off the blob's head and ate it in retaliation.
Yeah, like
I could, like, on some weird twisted level, I could see the blob being a cannibal, right? Because like he's fat, right? And he's like a villain, right? But yo, your hero just was like what the fuck, yo?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it like nah, yo.
That would not be
ruined. He ruined that universe.
That would not be my first. That would not be my first action if I saw someone eating my wife. It wouldn't be to take him and then eat him.
No, I would break him in half. That is what I would do.
Yeah,
I would
literally do anything else than eat his head off of his body.
It's a bit weird. Man. No, Jeff Loeb sucks. So having him handle those shows was obviously a terrible idea. So perhaps under great writers, the great writers they have under the Marvel camp, like maybe they pull out Iron Fist and it's fucking dope. Look, I gotta tell you, like if that dude's not willing, like I don't want to do the exercises, he's not the person for the job.
Yeah, you got to recast that, man.
Like I'm not trying to hear all that. Like I like to have the body of a yoga master. Yo, you're a living weapon, yo. Like you're supposed like there are certain characters that don't need to be jacked, right? Like I get it. Kumail Nanjiani was like, Nanjiani, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna get jacked because I'm in a Marvel movie. Like Kingo didn't need to be jacked. Like he just didn't. Like it was fine.
Take his shirt off.
Right. Like there was no reason for him to be jacked. Look, he looked great. Whatever. I'm not hating on the guy, but like there was no reason for him to be jacked. Yo, Iron Fist is a living weapon. Yo, he should look devastating. And like he should whoa, that guy is not to be fucked with. Like, don't even turn your fist on. Like, I get it. Like, I get it, bro. I can see your abs through your fucking shirt. I got it.
Yo,
like,
you should at least be ripped, yo. You don't have to be big, right? Because
but you should be
White. but you should be ripped.
You should look like Bruce Lee, basically.
Yeah,
like
man.
Bruce Lee was small. Like a lot of people are like, oh, Bruce Lee was huge. No, he wasn't. He was small, but he was fucking shredded. Like that makes sense. Like, yeah, you don't have to look like Michael Jai White. Like, what the fuck? That guy's not supposed to be that agile anyway. Like, why are you so agile? You're too big. So, like, nah. And I need my culture to just be, and not to tell an actor what to do. I need you to be a little bit more niggerish. Like, I just do. Like, I do. Yo, you're playing Luke Cage, yo. Like, I'm sorry. I just need you to, like, sprinkle some niggerish on it. Like, just come on, man. Just come on. Come on. I just do. I need that. But yeah, I mean, there seems to be some like kind of leanings that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are definitely coming back. The talk is that Daredevil and Jessica Jones are both likely to make cameos in She-Hulk. So that makes sense, right? Jessica Jones is an investigator. Obviously, Daredevil is a lawyer. So that makes sense. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm all in. I'm happy to see Matt Murdock join the MCU for real. Here's what I'm not happy about. Kevin Spacey still being alive. Kevin Spacey to face 4 sex assault charges in Britain. He ain't going. British prosecutor said Thursday.
Just come back. Didn't he just come back?
From where?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Come back from where?
From exile. I thought I saw that he was like going to Cannes or some shit like that.
No. What? Are you serious?
I thought I saw that he was going to Cannes, and he was like, and like this was his like
coming out party?
You know how celebrities are, right? Like they go away for a while till the heat dies down, and then they come back and like pretend that like they're better.
Nah, yo. You can't bring Kevin Spacey can't come back. Like, Mel Gibson's still trying to come back. Like, that's probably never going to happen. But Kevin Spacey definitely can't come back.
Look, I agree with you, but I thought
that's wild.
I thought that he was trying to come back, yo. And Jesus Christ.
Look, shout out to Anthony. He was like in the fan group. He was like, so, like these people accusing him, they gonna end up dead too? Like, look, yo, 3 of his accusers are dead. 3, yo.
Look, that's not a coincidence, man.
Listen. I'm not even gonna do allegedly. Kevin Spacey is putting hits out on people, dude. What the fuck? 3? Nah, yo, nobody has that kind of luck. Nobody has that kind of luck. That's crazy. Nah, yo, Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze. Get the fuck out of here, dude. He is a bad dude. Kevin Spacey, James Franco, and more are trying to make comebacks. Look, I'm not mad at Alec Baldwin. Don't put Alec Baldwin in there, dude. Alec Baldwin coming back at Cannes is fine. Like, that's a mistake. James Franco, that's risky as fuck for you, yo. Kevin Spacey, nah, yo.
And Kevin Spacey, you got to go away forever.
James Franco got to go away for a couple years. He got to like just be out of the limelight for a couple years. You can't lump Alec Baldwin in that. That's not fair. Like, he didn't shoot the woman on purpose. What the fuck? Nah, yo, Kevin Spacey, no, come back. He's trying to make a film. What?
Yeah, yo, that's what I'm saying, yo.
No, dude, get the fuck out of here, yo. Get the fuck out of here. Who's watching it? Who's watching it?
It's got a trailer and everything.
Nah, yo, I'm not watching that trailer. You're not doing that trailer tonight, yo. Knock that shit off. Kevin Spacey's new movie. Fuck off. Nah, yo, that dude kills people, yo. Kevin Spacey's a wild dude. All right, let's jump down. Kevin Spacey's got a new trailer. Who's in the movie with him? Who is in the movie with him? Is it directed by Roman Polanski? Who directed this film? It's like, oh, Kevin Spacey, let's get him. Nah, yo.
I read somewhere that France is just kind of fed up with Roman Polanski too. Yo.
I saw that. Good. Like, they don't have extradition, but I'd be like, hey, he gonna be over here tomorrow. Like, just come pick that nigga up. Nah, if they ever bring him back to the U.S., he going to jail. Like, he had anal sex with a 13-year-old girl, yo. Go to jail.
He's a real fucking Hal Jordan.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Hal Jordan is a pedophile, guys. Hal Jordan is a pedophile. That's one thing that.
Wait. Nah, you can't just drop that in the fucking show and just be like, next topic.
I mean, look. Hal Jordan. Like, here's the story, right? Like, there was this alien. So, anybody can be a Green Lantern if they're worthy, right? Mm-hmm. And Green Lanterns are like all types of alien species and humans and all that shit.
Yeah, so one's a squirrel.
Right. One of them's a fucking ant or some shit. And
a bee. His name is Buzz.
Yeah. And at this point, Hal Jordan is like the man, right? And this alien girl who is the equivalent of a 13-year-old girl is like has a crush on him, right? Like
Aricia.
She has a crush on him. And he's like, nah, we can't, you're a child, right? And then she uses her powers to make herself look like a grown woman.
Oh, no.
And now Hal Jordan is like, all right, let's rock and roll. I was like, nah, yo.
No, but did he know who it was?
Yes.
Nah, that's not acceptable.
He's a pedophile, yo.
Nah, Hal Jordan is a wild dude. And the person who wrote that is a definite pedophile. For real. Who wrote that story? That person is a pedophile. Get out of here.
Hal Jordan is a fucking problem, yo. Like, anybody who says Hal Jordan is their favorite Green Lantern, they are a fucking problem. And not just the pedophile thing, but that's a big thing.
That's a pretty big thing, dude. Nah, yo. Hal Jordan is a kitty fiddler is the title of this episode. No, that is not acceptable. You know what? I might make it that just to piss off Hal Jordan fans. Because, like, there's no way you're not going to click on that. Like, Hal Jordan's a pedophile. What the fuck? Like, yeah, click on it, find out. For real. Wow, that's a crazy story. That's really unacceptable behavior, Hal. I'm so glad you're a fictional character, but the person who wrote that for real is an actual pedophile. That's gross. All right, what the fuck brought to you by JTD? And then we got to get into trailers big time.
Oh, man, I should have probably opened this up earlier, but I opened it up now. A man fulfills a dream of living as... A man fulfills a dream of living as a dog with ultra-realistic rough collie costume. A man from this country, it actually does look very realistic. A man from this country who has always wanted to live as an animal managed to fulfill his dream thanks to a professional dog costume made by a company specializing in special effects and special modeling. Everyone who lives as an animal.
Japan.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. Everyone who lives as an animal.
Creep.
Well, Japanese Twitter user Toko has been thinking about it for a while, and it looks really good.
Yo, that's super good. Holy shit! It looks like a dog that's been like dead and stuffed.
Yeah, it looks like a taxidermied fucking dog.
Oh, this nigga's out of his mind.
This is they charged him about $15,000 for this.
What the fuck?
But it is pretty damn good. So to our favorite cosplayer / electrician, Demetrius, the gauntlet has been thrown down.
Yeah, nigga, dress as a dog.
I expect you to dress as some sort of animal.
No, hold on. No, it has to be a dog, and you're black, so it's got to be a Rottweiler.
Yep, it's got to be a Rottweiler.
It's got to be a Rottweiler or a Pit.
And then stay away from me because a Rottweiler is the dog, the breed that gave me the trauma that I have. And you a big nigga, you a big dude. I don't want to see a giant fucking Rottweiler walking down the street.
Yo, this is crazy good. This is crazy good. Holy shit. I mean, him moving in it is weird, right? Like, but like, yo, that work of that costume is nuts. Like, that is nuts. That's really impressive.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, him moving in it doesn't look right, but if he would have just kind of oh yeah, this really doesn't. Like,
It's just like
for this being your dream, you really didn't you really didn't think it through, man. Like you gotta you would have figured that like I would get the movements down. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, he didn't work on this shit in his mind at all. He just he didn't really think it through.
Yeah, man. Like you gotta live the gimmick, as they say.
It's not a lie if you believe it. Dude, this is wild. Like all of this to just not have sex with women. Like that what is going on in Japan? Like bro, like there's definitely a Japanese woman who like just bought a poodle costume and she's like, yeah, rock and roll, let's do this. That's fucked up.
I mean, that's the next step, right? That's the next step, right?
Just dressing
like,
as dogs to bang.
You want to live as a dog, right? Like then you're gonna want to act as a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna want to live your life and all that comes with it, like a dog, which is
yeah.
I just
nah. I'm good. I'm actually totally good. Nah. I just sent you a story. It's not my what the fuck story. I just found this fucking hilarious. My story, coffee fan. Okay, see. I just to give people a heads up. The story I sent Micah is Thai tea stall goes viral for questionable packaging choice. They sell tea in a bag that's got like a dick, like that you drink out of.
You gotta drink out of the head of it. Yo.
That's wild. Like I'm good. As people would say, like pause, dog. Like pause.
I'm looking at this one picture, and this guy's holding this shit up, and he's got a mask on, but like you could tell what the expression is behind that mask. He's just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, that's crazy, man. Like, nah, I'm not. I don't want your dick tea. I'm fine. My what the fuck story. Coffee fans say they've been put off the drink for life after a doctor warns cockroaches can be found in pre-ground beans. By the way, as a coffee connoisseur and a person who stands above others, I don't buy pre-ground coffee.
I have no idea what that means. I don't drink coffee.
Just the beans, yo. You just get the beans. You can grind it yourself every morning, fresh. It tastes better that way anyway. Yeah, this guy says, this one doctor says like, hey, from this country, hey, if you get the ground coffee, sometimes there's a percentage of cockroaches and other creatures in the ingredients. So, just be warned. So where do you think this is?
I was about to say something, but I'll just say India.
That's fucked up. This is in Britain. He is a National Health Service doctor, Dr. Karan Raj. So, like, yes. Like, okay. Turns out, like, yeah, you're kind of right. Look, man, I don't know how true that is. I've not heard that other places, but just buy whole bean coffee, dude. Like, you don't have to not have coffee anymore. Just buy whole bean coffee. Also, what do you care? What do you care? Like, you think everything that you eat is pure? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I was about to say, man, like
all packaged.
Don't go to don't
eat at a restaurant.
Don't eat at any restaurant. Like literally any restaurant. Because you will not like what you see there. Like nobody wants to see how the sausage is made. And sometimes it's made with fucking cockroaches in the coffee.
Right. Or in the sausage. Incidentally. You don't know. Yeah, I feel like sometimes ignorance is bliss in this situation. But look, if you're that concerned about it, just get the whole beans, man. Ain't no big deal. Get a grinder. They're pretty cheap. And do the whole beans. But yeah, these people are all freaking out. Like, nah, you don't have to freak out. Like, just relax. It's all right. Don't let Dr. Raj creep you out. Just buy better coffee. Stop being. Have you tried not being poor? I don't know. Trailers this week. I'll just quickly go through one of them because Mike is not really interested, so I won't show it here. Willow is getting a follow-up series. Look, Willow is a high fantasy film about a dwarf named Willow who, the original movie, he was sent on this journey to protect this small child. Look, it is a great high fantasy movie. The original is, and this one sort of picks up later on with same principal actor. I think it is a great kids movie. I remember my cousin when she was a kid. She watched this movie every single day when she was a kid. I'll have to send this to her. But it's good, man. Willow is a great story. It has the same sort of idea that the Lord of the Rings movies had, which is, Warwick Davis obviously being a little person, like, don't underestimate little people, right? Like, and by proxy, don't underestimate kids, right? Like, you'd be surprised what they can accomplish. And so the follow-up looks to be of similar, style. The original starred Warwick Davis and Val Kilmer as Mad Madigan, Mad Mardigan. But obviously Val Kilmer's health probably won't allow him to do a cameo, but he was in Top Gun Maverick, so maybe. Which was a really heartfelt moment. So it'd be cool if Val Kilmer was able to come back for this, like, just briefly. That'd be kind of dope. But he's recovering from cancer and stuff like that, and he's really had a hard time, so probably not. But yeah, I think this looks really fun. And if you love the original, like, this is probably really good for kids like 8 to 10, like, as a starting age. I think they would probably really dig it. Next up, the trailer for Andor. I am going to try to pull this up real fast. I apologize for the wait. I think this sort of Star Wars series is ripe for doing quite well. As far as the resistance and all this other stuff that they're kind of really playing up. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
So this takes place like 5 years before Rogue One, and I think Rogue One is a great movie.
It is.
It's probably up there at like 1 or 2 as far as my favorite Star Wars movies.
Yep.
I really, really enjoy it. And to get more of that in this, of the genesis, like the true genesis of the rebellion, is what I'm gathering. Yeah, man, I'm all about it. I didn't really care for Cassian Andor as a character. He was all right, but like, he wasn't really memorable.
Right. No, he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't the main character either.
Right. So I'm more interested in the world where it is under this like regime and what they do to spark a revolution.
Right.
And yeah, man, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm down.
I think it looks good. They seem to be getting a larger budget for these things and kind of really kind of going for it. As these series have really kind of picked up, which is dope. Like, the scale of this looks as large as the scale for Obi-Wan, which starts tomorrow at the time that we're recording this. So yeah, I'm enjoying the scale of it. So I look forward to it, man. I do. I think Star Wars is going to have probably better, having a better time at it in the series right now with all their new series than they are in the movies, which is, obviously a bit ironic, but until they kind of figure out what the hell they're doing in the movie universe, take your time.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars has always kind of, been better as serialized television, because you can tell better stories, more long form stories. You can take your time. You can have things breathe. The only downside is that if you have a certain amount of shows that you have to hit, like say for a cartoon, then every once in a while you will get filler. And while the filler is great, it's not really a part of the story. Whereas if you just give me, 6 to 8 episodes at 44 minutes apiece, I feel like you could tell a really interesting story, and not be bogged down by like you could focus.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, man, let's. I'm with it. I'm down.
Next up is Prey. This is Dan Trachtenberg's latest film. He's the director, as you can see, of 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a very stripped down film in the Cloverfield universe. I think it was the best movie in the Cloverfield universe, honestly. This is a prequel to Predator, where it is dealing with a Native American tribe, or maybe two Native Americans taking on a predator with really, obviously very like limited gun, weaponry. I think this looks interesting. I think it's a super interesting premise. This is a Hulu original film, so it's definitely going to be stripped down. But I think that's okay. I think Dan Trachtenberg really thrives in that sort of world of just like telling a very small but very concrete story. So I'm looking forward to this. I have to imagine it's on Hulu because the Predator series has not proven to be very reliable outside of the first one, really. What say you?
Yeah, look, I love Predator. All the films, even the bad ones, even that really really bad Shane Black one.
I thought that movie was hilarious.
I can find something to like about it. So I'm going to watch this.
Yeah,
but I do think that, like you said, the premise is interesting because, like, the problem with Predator, right? Like, what do we do? What do we do, right? Like the first one was so good, and like it hit on all cylinders. That it's almost a perfect movie. It would be a perfect movie if at the beginning of that first Predator you didn't see the fucking spaceship, right? If you didn't see the spaceship, and you got these commandos out there, and they're just dying, and you think that it's like another like militia or some shit taking these guys out, but oh shit, it's a fucking alien, right? Like that would have made it a perfect movie. Instead, it's just a really, 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 really good one. And then everything worked, right? The setting, the creature design, the stars that you got to be in it.
Yeah.
Everything worked, right? And then you're like, well, shit, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And then they put them in the city, and then they had Glover. Like Danny Glover.
Yeah, what a weird choice.
Yeah, man, with just like the biggest fucking gun in the world. Like you get that gun when you beat the game on hard. You know what I mean? Like that is the weirdest fuck. Like you're not one handing a Desert Eagle with a, and you're not putting a big fucking scope on it because you'll lose your fucking balance. But all right, it's like, what do you do, right? And then they put them in the city, and then the Predators, which I didn't have a problem with. I actually liked it more than the Predator. It tries to go back to the first Predator and putting people in the jungle, but like the cast is kind of whack, right? Like instead of like having commandos, they had a crazy doctor and a yakuza and a man with a broken nose and Lawrence Fishburne. Like it was just, the cast was whack, right? Like I get the premise.
They didn't do it. They didn't do a dick flip. Like they tried to modernize it, but like that's the point of the Predator series. Is like you really can't. Like it's the point is that people go for the dick flick. Like it doesn't mean you can't have women in it, They just got to be beefcakes, dude. Like they just do.
Right. The whole point of them casting gigantic, like shit kicking looking dudes, right? It's like, well, shit, nothing could take these guys out, right? Who the fuck is going to take out Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Who's going to take out fucking Carl Weathers, right? Like these dudes are fucking huge, right? One of them's a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, for God's sakes, right?
Right.
And they're getting their asses handed to them.
Right. That's the point.
Topher
Grace was, he's a serial killer. What?
A gust of wind can take out Topher Grace.
Right.
Like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of that.
Right. Like, so, if anything, the casting should have been more like the Expendables casting, for the characters.
Right. And then The Predator, which was like a stupid title because there are more than one Predator in it. It's doing too much. The cast was whack, right? They tried to get a bunch of tough guys, but the cast was whack, right? Yep. They try to overanalyze. They try to over-explain shit. Oh, this must be why the Predator has dreadlocks. Yo, the Predator's got the Yautja have dreadlocks because they have dreadlocks, yo. Like that's it. Like I don't need all that. They have Predator dogs. Look, I know people like dogs, yo, but like once you start doing that, that's like introducing a new character in like the 7th season of a sitcom. You know what I mean? Like
didn't they have Predator dogs in Predators though? Like I thought they did.
Did they?
I think that they did.
So, man.
I think the Predator hunter had like a Predator dog. I thought so.
I don't.
I'd have to go back and watch.
I think that's the Predator that you're thinking of, and then they had the Super Predator, the Predator that's hunting other predators, the Yautja that's hunting other Yautjas, right?
Yeah, the super nigga. Like I got it.
I mean, basically, right? They had they had a power forward. They had a power forward, and now they got the center coming after the power forward, right? Like I get it, but like, and then they did the Iron Man Predator suit, and I'm just like, yo, this is
that part. I was like,
and then the boys autism was like a superpower or some shit. Like it was weird, man.
Remember that?
You got to be careful with shit like that, man. Like you got to be careful with shit like that. So
the only thing that worked in that movie for me is I found that movie to be hilarious because I found Sterling K. Brown's character to be hysterical. Like I did. I found him to be hilarious. I laughed more at that movie than I thought I would. I was like, you know what? This is pretty goddamn funny. Was it meant to be? No.
Now here's why I'm interested in Prey, and then we can get off of this, right? Why I'm interested in Prey is the opposite of why I was interested in why Predator is so good, right? Like Predator is so good because like these giant dudes are getting their asses handed to them by something and you don't know what it is, right? Prey is interesting because it is one, maybe two people. And look, this is going to sound sexist, but two women, right? And I'm not saying that women aren't like badasses and shit, but society has kind of drilled it into us, right? That women need a man to save them, right?
Right.
So that women are the weaker sex, quote unquote. And so you see these two women being essentially stalked. We all know what a predator looks like. They're being stalked by this gigantic burly fucking thing. It's like, so I'm interested to see, like, they're not going to outbox a predator, right?
They have to just be smarter.
Right. They have to outthink it. And that's what I'm interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing how they are able to do this. But and that's what people should be worried about, not the fact, well, they got bows and arrows. How do you take out the predator? Like, go watch the first Predator again, yo.
That's how he killed him, was with rudimentary weapons, dude. Like that he made himself. And that's why this premise is actually interesting, right? To take on a predator from the jump like that, right?
Right.
Arnold realized, like, all right, these guns don't fucking work. I don't have shit. So I just got to use my wits. And that was quite literally how he beat him, like just using his wits. So it'll be interesting. I'm not going to try to like hype it up too much. I think Trachtenberg is probably going to nail this. Like I do. Cause that's his thing of taking these like big fucking premises and whittling them down to something that's a lot more interesting in that world. Look, I think he nailed 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think he absolutely nailed it. And I remember like fucking Trachtenberg, like before he became a director, like he was just like a fucking movie review nerd.
He was on a YouTube show.
Yeah.
That I used to watch with him and like Jeff Kanata and Alex Albrecht, right? And they just like really liked movies, and he was doing commercials at the time. So it's wild when you see like someone's career like from the beginning.
Yeah, like really and take off like in big ways. Have you ever seen 10 Cloverfield Lane?
I haven't. That
you
franchise
should watch it.
didn't really do anything for me, but I always heard that movie was really good. Like
that
would get me back into it.
Like the thing is, it doesn't deal with the aliens and shit. Like it doesn't deal with that at all. It actually deals with the paranoia of living in that world. Like it's a bottle film with John Goodman, and I forget the other two people. And John Goodman is like paranoid, like don't go outside, the fucking aliens or whatever. And the other two people are like, yeah, I don't believe you. What the fuck are you talking about? And so it's like his crazy paranoia and them dealing with it in this like locked bunker. That's all the movie is about. It only deals with the larger Cloverfield world at the very end. And that's what I'm saying. Like he's able to like pull that whole universe down from a found footage film with a giant monster and all this other shit, able to pull it all the way down to just this bottle film with like these three people. So he might be able to do that again, and it would be really cool. It would be cool to sort of reinvigorate the Predator franchise, because this might, if he pulls it off, it'll be the best movie in the Predator franchise since the original.
Yeah.
So that would be, I'd like to see him, succeed in that. Next up is the trailer for, what are we talking about? Trailer for season 3 of The Boys.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like it's more of The Boys. When is it coming out? I can't remember when it's coming.
It's like June. It's pretty soon. It's like June 6th or some shit like that.
Yeah, I am ready for this to come back.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite series, like by far. It is absolutely one of my favorite series. I kind of want to rewatch season 2 again, because I absolutely love season 2, and I thought season 1 was great. Season 2 hit a stride that like made season 1 look like rudimentary in comparison, like just like the messaging that they were doing and all that other stuff. I just thought it was really great. So yeah, this looks to keep up that level of violence and Homelander psychopath behavior. Butcher clearly gets some V for a bit, so he can have like superpowers for 24 hours. That should be pretty fun. And my guess is that's sort of a nod to the original ending of the comics, which was terrible. And so I'm sure they will just keep it to this season and kind of, ultimately they're definitely not going to go with the comic ending for this series. I just can't imagine they will. But yeah, Herogasm is supposed to be in this season, which is pretty sexually wild. So apparently, according to the directors there and the writers, they were like, "Oh, we're doing it. Like we're not backing off of that shit." So I see superpowered AOC is back in this. So yeah. And then you got your Captain America analog, so Soldier Boy. So that looks pretty fun. Yeah, I'm all in for the series, man. I think it's great.
Yeah.
All right. What's up next?
Next up is The Old Man. The Old Man is an upcoming thriller television series based on the 2017 novel by Thomas Perry. It's coming out on FX June 16th. It's about Dan Chase, a former CIA operative who has been living off the grid for quite some time. When an assassin arrives and tries to take Chase out, the old operative must go on the run. And while on the run, Chase rents a room from Zoe McDonald, with whom he is forced to partner up as he fights for the truth.
I think this looks great. I really do. I'm glad to see Jeff Bridges is not doing just a Rooster Cogburn impression anymore. He's back to his normal voice. Like, I was like 4 movies. I'm like, please stop doing that. But yeah, this looks good. Like, this looks like sort of FX, the FX kind of stuff that I like. Dark, kind of fucked up, very serious. Yeah, I'm into this. What say you?
It looks interesting, but I'm probably not going to watch it because it's a television show. And it comes on FX or Hulu. And Hulu I forget about. Which, it just is what it is. But it does look interesting. If this was a movie, I would definitely watch it. But I'm not going to lie here and say that I'm going to watch there's too much television. I barely watch television as it is. I got to pick and choose my battles with TV.
Yo, there's a lot of great TV coming out in June. Like, it's kind of I'm like, spread it out. Jesus Christ. Somebody, shout out to our buddy Brian. He's had not a great week this week, so shout out to him. But yeah, he had posted in the fan group. He was like, "Yo, it's like an embarrassment of riches," and he's just like he like laid out. It was like 7 great shows all coming out in June. It's like, this is in like a 6-week span. All of these shows are coming out. Like, it was just crazy. Like, look, I know with movies, we generally like spread them out. So, we don't have too much overlap. Not TV. TV's like, oh, is it June? Yeah, that's cool. You done with school? Good. You got time? Now watch these 12 shows that are all fucking high premiere, high class shows.
Well, movies, they want to get out of people's way because they know that like not many people go to the movie. People don't go to the movies every week, right?
Right.
TV, I mean, you home all the time.
What you gonna do? You ain't gonna watch it? Yeah, you gonna watch it.
Right. Like they need them eyes, man. You home all the time. And now that you can get shit on demand,
yeah. The arguments against like being able to watch an inordinate amount of television are pretty much useless and as far as executives go. Next up, 3,000 Years of Longing. This is from the director of Mad Max Thunderdome, Mad Max 2, Mad Max Fury Road, and Babe, Pig in the City. A lot of people don't know that. And Happy Feet. I did not know George Miller directed those last 2 movies. I had no idea. He also wrote and produced the original Babe movie, which is fucking weird. This looks very strange to me. I like George Miller as a director. I've never seen the Babe movies, but I like him a lot. But this just seems... I think this might feel too weird for me.
I'm not going to the theater to see this.
No, fuck no. Fuck no. But I would catch this on streaming.
I would catch it on streaming, but they're like, only in theaters. I'm like, it looks super interesting. It looks super interesting, but like, there's no way I'm going to. Like, I gotta be in I gotta be in the right frame of mind to even watch this on streaming. To be perfectly honest with you, like, I gotta be in the mood for like some weird shit. Yeah, and it would have to be like someone has to tell me that there's like funny bits to this, like that it's actually like humorous.
I think it probably will be. I just the trailer isn't doing much for me. Like, it feels all over the place. Look, I like Tilda Swinton. I like Idris Elba, obviously. But it's almost a little too weird for me. And that's not even true for the mindset that I'm in right now. Right? Like, I'm watching a lot of very realistic shows, and I haven't watched a lot of like kooky fantasy stuff like this in a long time. And so, like, watching this, I'm just kind of like, But it looks beautiful. Yeah. I will say that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm very much wait and see on this.
Yeah. Look, if people tell me this is an incredible movie, I'll check it out, but I'm not going to check it out in theaters. That is 100% not going to happen for me. So next up,
Next up is Beast. A recently widowed husband returns to South Africa, where he first met his wife on a long planned trip with his 2 teenage daughters to a game reserve managed by an old family friend and fellow wildlife biologist. And soon, however, a ferocious man-hunting lion begins stalking them. This is the fucking wildest Lion King remake I have ever seen.
Yeah, this goes in a yes, very different. Look, I think this looks super interesting. I didn't know what the trailer was about. Like, people were like, "Oh, check out Beast," and I was like, "All right, cool, I'll check out the trailer." So as I'm watching it, I'm like, "Okay, this is whatever." And then the trailer fucking goes off the goddamn rails. But yeah, I think it looks really interesting. I think this movie is going to hit like gangbusters for a lot of people. This is the Idris Elba movie I would be more likely to see in theaters than the last one.
Yeah. This looks like a fun date movie that I would take my wife to, right? Like she'll get scared, she'd jump in my arms, and I cop a feel like it's okay. Right?
At least you're honest.
I mean, but no, it looks interesting, right? It's like like Jurassic Park, like Sahara Park or some shit, right?
It gives me like
no, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's fucking deep blue sea in the desert.
Nah, I don't get those impressions. That's ridiculous. What was that movie? What was the movie with Val Kilmer where they were like hunting a lion? The Ghost in the Darkness. Like, it kind of gives me vibes of that. I mean, it was a very fucking serious film. But that feels more like what this is than Deep Blue Sea, you asshole. But I like the idea of this. It's kind of cool to see a black father with his black ass kids, like looking out for them. Like, that feels cool. And look, it's Idris Elba, so of course at the end of the trailer they got this nigga punching a lion in the face. Yeah, is that the moment that it kills him? Because that's exactly what would happen right after he did that. It would be like, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna murder you. But yeah, I think it looks interesting. I think it looks super interesting. Only in theaters August 19th. So, all right. Next up.
Next up is She-Hulk. She-Hulk is look, we all know who She-Hulk is, but the premise of the show,
I can't believe they made the Hulk a girl.
Jennifer Walters has a complicated life as a single attorney in her 30s who can transform into the 6'7" green super strong superhero She-Hulk. Look, I know everyone's talked about it to death, but let's just get the elephant. Let's just get the elephant out of the room, or whatever that fucking saying is. CG's real rough. It's real rough.
Yeah, I feel like this is clearly not done.
Well, everybody says that, but like very rarely do I see a huge leap from a trailer to the finished product where the CGI is concerned, right? Like, they thought this was good enough to put out for a trailer.
That's true.
So I am not. It's going to be real. It's going to be very, very. It's going to take a minute to get over. But the content of the trailer, the vibe that it's giving me, I'm into it.
Really? The 6'7" muscular woman? You?
Oh, look. Disney doesn't know what they've done, but they are.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Look, all of a sudden, you're going to see fucking lift carry videos on all your little tube sites, and the lift carry options are going to be front and center, because a lot of dudes who like to pretend like that dude, like, yeah, I'm a big man, right? Like, nah, yo, you're going to be like this dude right here. You want a big mommy to take care of you in more ways than one. So, yeah, they,
Not mad at it. I get it.
look, I get it. Especially as a tall guy, like when I see a tall woman that like looks good,
Relax.
All right.
Yeah, look, no, they know exactly what they're doing. That's why that's the last scene in that trailer. They know exactly what they're doing. And look, it's smart because like that's a big premise of the She-Hulk comics. It's like, yo, she still dates. Like dudes are like trying to climb that tree.
Yeah, like she can turn it on and off, but like part of She-Hulk's powers and one of the reasons she doesn't turn it off is because it helps with her confidence. Like it's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, but not quite. But it like helps with her confidence, and she feels better about herself, and she's more assertive. And you can see it in this trailer, right? When she's like in her human form, she's just like, oh, is anything worse than dating in your 30s? Right. And then she's She-Hulk. She's fucking swiping right or swiping left or whatever the right one is. She's just swiping all over the place, fucking picking dudes up and just like, yo, let's take these fries to go. Right. And we're going to do this shit. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with it. This looks really good, man. This looks very, very good.
I mean, the only thing that doesn't look great is the CGI, and hopefully it's just not done. I'm hoping that the CGI gets better. If you're going to put this woman in movies, which I'm sure they're planning on doing, like it's got to look a hell of a lot better than this. It really does. So yeah, we'll see. Next
one up is The Gray Man.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
When the CIA's most skilled mercenary, known as Court Gentry, aka Sierra 6, accidentally uncovers a dark agency secret, he becomes a primary target and is hunted around the world by psychopathic former colleague Lloyd Hansen and international assassins. So basically, spy versus spy, and I am here for it. I love spy action movies. It's from the Russo brothers, who
come on,
have done the best Captain America movies, have done the best Avengers movies. Stars Ryan Gosling, and Chris Evans, who is the fucking psycho, which I always love seeing Chris Evans be a psycho or be a villain because he's such a nice guy, right?
Eat shit.
He's such a nice guy, right? And I always love seeing him play against type a bit.
Yeah.
And this looks fucking awesome, man. Like this looks fucking great.
Like is this the X versus Severs that we were promised years ago?
Yeah, this is the one that we deserve, not the one we.
Yeah, I think this looks fun. I always like seeing Ryan Gosling in like full on action films, like because that guy he's often played to type of like the quiet, good looking guy. It's kind of cool to see him like fucking shit up. That's kind of fun. And look, the Russo brothers know how to put on a show, man. They absolutely do. So I'm looking forward to that. This is a Netflix movie, man. This is going to be a movie that people are going to be like, yo, it's Friday. I'm sitting down to watch The Gray Man. Right. So
yeah, like this is one of those movies that they do that's like that I think will hit. What's that movie with Tyler Rake? That character starring the Tyler Rake is the character's name. The guy who played Thor is in that movie. Extraction.
Extraction. Like yeah. Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, this is like Extraction, man. And Extraction was super fucking fun.
Yep.
And that's what I think Netflix. That's what I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be the next like Extraction.
I mean, the thing is, like that movie is like one of their top movies of all time. Like people
it's getting a sequel. It's getting a sequel, even though Tyler Rake fucking got shot in the goddamn neck at the end.
Nah,
of that
he ain't die. I told you. Like,
what the fuck?
Like, yo, yeah. I told you, yo, like that money was coming in. He gonna survive. Like, oh, I repaired my neck. Like, how'd you do that? Right. With the 800 million views you guys brought in? That's how. The fuck?
I got that same shit that Cornel West got. I just gotta wear ascot all the time.
That's it. I'm gonna be fine. Next up, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Tower of Justice League 5. Look, this title sucks. It should just be called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. You don't need Part 1 and 2. That being said, what am I not gonna watch this? This is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I love this franchise. Yeah. It feels like a bunch of generic shots from other Mission Impossible movies. I thought when the leaked trailer came out, I thought that's what it was. I was like, this isn't a real trailer. I was like, those are scenes from other Mission Impossible movies. Now it turns out these are actually scenes from this movie.
All that sand shit looks like it was from Rogue Nation, and these shots look like they're from Part 5.
Right. Like, and then like once it started, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like the party scene, that looks like the last movie. But that being said, like this is obvious. This is kind of a teaser trailer, right? Like they're just like, yo, Ethan Hunt's coming back. And like, look at all these fucking cool ass people who are going to be in this movie, right? Peggy Atwell's in this.
Haley Atwell.
Oh, Peggy Atwell. So like, it's just basically showing off all these new characters that are in the franchise. And that's really it. So it's not really a story trailer per se, but it looks fun, man. It looks fucking badass.
Nobody goes to these Mission Impossible movies for the story, right? Like you just want the story to make sense while you're watching it, but nobody is like,
I don't give a shit about the rest of it.
Right. Like you want to see some wild shit, right? Like, and it looks like they're doing, like you said, it looks like they're doing the greatest hits from all previous Mission Impossible movies. And that's kind of like GoldenEye right there. That shot him on the motorcycle.
Yep.
It looks like they're doing all the greatest hits of certain action scenes, right? Like the train thing is very reminiscent of Mission Impossible 1. You remember when the helicopter flew into the tunnel and Ethan Hawke was on the train and shit?
Yeah, and somehow the helicopter didn't immediately blow up. Yeah. No, that's not how life works, but you know what? And then it stops right up his neck, and I was like, that's crazy. Right. No. Let's all knock that shit off. But at the same time, that fucking scene was awesome. It was phenomenal.
It was, man. It was. I'm going to have to rewatch every single one of those movies.
I feel like I kind of want to.
Yeah, just because they're fun, man. They're fun. And they're the first three are wildly different from one another.
Yo, they're super different. Like, it's crazy. One is just great in every aspect. It's the best, like, it's like it's real spy movie.
It's very much a spy movie. And then the second one is just like 2000s as shit. Like it is just 2000s the movie, right?
Right.
It's got John Woo. It's got leather jackets. It's got fucking angst. It's got a great villain that has like weird sayings like, "Oh, she was practically gagging for it." Like,
it's like what the fuck? You would not have been a good Wolverine. Please, please stop saying that.
Three was kind of like the proto. It was fine, but it was like the prototype for what these Mission Impossible movies eventually evolved to be.
Yes,
and then
it does have an excellent action sequence of on that bridge where they have the Predator drone fly by and then bomb, and then like Ethan Hunt like falls the other way. It's a very cool shot. Like, and also. Who was the villain in that? I want to say
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I know who it is, but I wanted to say W.H. Macy. Like William H. Macy. Like, that is not correct. But yeah, no, Philip Seymour Hoffman was a good villain. I liked him a lot. I'm sorry that guy's gone.
The rabbit's foot, Ethan. Give me the rabbit's foot. The rabbit's foot, Ethan.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't he exploding heads in that movie? Like, it was very
They
weird.
wanted that fucking thing. And like here's the thing, like the MacGuffin in that movie is literally the most egregious use of a MacGuffin I've ever seen in a movie, because like at least MacGuffins in other movies, people kind of say what the MacGuffin is or what it does and why you need it. Now they don't do that with this. And even at the end, it was just like, well, do you want to know what it does? Nope. Bye. Like, fuck.
Thanks for spending 2 hours with us. Yeah, four is I feel like four is the was that the one in the tower? That was the one with Jeremy Renner, right?
That was the one. I think 4 was for the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, that's the one with Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, I think he's in 2 of them, isn't he?
No, he's just in 1. No, I thought he was just in 4. Because they were just like, we're going to hand the franchise over to him. And they're like, Tom Cruise is like, nah, you're not.
No, I like this, though. I like this.
I like what I'm doing. I'm like, people love this. Because at that point, like after 4, people were like, nah, this nigga jumped out of the Burj Khalifa. Like, nah, I'm going to see what he want to do next. Like, that's basically what happened. People were like, nah, don't leave. And he was like, bet, you got it. I don't even remember 5.
5 was amazing, dude. Rogue Nation, that was fucking awesome.
Oh, right.
And yeah, Jeremy Renner's in Rogue Nation also. That was the one with Rebecca Ferguson.
Yes.
Rebecca Ferguson was in that. And
the first time she was in it. The first time she was in it.
Yeah.
She was so good. Yeah, because that had that crazy underwater scene, which was bonkers, where he was like, he held his breath for 6 minutes. I'm like, yo, you have to do it for real? Like, relax, Tom, relax. They got stuntmen for this shit. He was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to do it. Yeah, that water scene. I actually would like to watch 5 again. That was very cool.
5 is fucking great.
Yeah. All right. Next up or last but not least is the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. This is like the real story trailer. We finally get an understanding of what the fuck is going on. And we get our first look at Gore the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale. What are your thoughts on this trailer?
I mean, look, I was all in, and I'm even more so all in. I'm looking forward. So I did a little bit of research, because like I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and say that I've read a Thor comic book ever. But I did look up who Gore the God Butcher is, and he's got a very, very interesting. Like, if you were evil, you would be Gore the God Butcher, right? Like,
because he's an atheist.
Yeah, because he's an atheist.
No, he actually is. No, he actually isn't an atheist. He does know gods exist, but he wants to murder them.
Right, because he's like, yo, my life is so fucked up. There must not be a God. And then he finds out, oh shit, the gods do exist. They just don't answer prayers and they're selfish and shit. And he's like, well, you know what? Fuck them, right? Like, they gotta die, right? And I'm like, I'm curious to see how his motivation plays out in the movie.
Yeah.
Looks super fun. Thor has had, like we said before, a wild ride.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing King Valkyrie and the mighty Thor. To see what they can kind of bring to the table. It just looks fun, man. It looks like another fun movie. Like I did the thing that I normally don't do, and I ventured on Twitter just to get like opinions of it. And there's this one account that's just like a Snyder Stan account.
I think I know what you're talking about. That guy's a fucking moron.
And it's like like they were doing like shots of like, well, look, Zack Snyder pioneered this, right? Because Thor is towing is he's not really towing the Alyssa Milano. He's kind of training, right? Like the Milano is going one way and he's this scene, right? Yeah. And there's a scene where Superman is like towing a ship in a similar fashion. And
yeah, no one's ever done that in a movie, guys.
Oh, he fucking pioneered it. He pioneered it, guys. And I'm just like, ooh, okay, this is what we're doing. Anyway, people on that thread were like, oh, Thor Ragnarok was the worst MCU movie.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's the worst one. Have you seen Lost World or The Dark World rather? Like, no, that's the worst MCU movie. Like, get out of here. It absolutely is. But their whole premise is anything that's light and fun and enjoyable is awful, and you should only like things that are dark and fucking miserable. And I'm like, no. Like, there are serious comic stories. Gore the God Butcher story is like fairly serious. But like, if you actually watch Thor Ragnarok, like it has some very serious overtones. It's just there is some comedic moments to it. Like it's largely comedy, but it deals with some pretty fucking serious shit too. At the same time, like that's Taika Waititi's like skill, is that he's able to talk about serious things while also having fun.
Because you are disarmed by the comedy, so that when the heavy shit comes, like you feel it.
Right. Like
all of his movies do that. All of his movies that I've seen do that. What was the movie with where he played Hitler? Like he's playing a really like goofy, like imaginary version of Hitler to this like Nazi youth. But then when the Nazi youth is realizing that like, hey, like these Jewish people are just like regular people, like his goofy, like Taika Waititi's goofy ass Hitler reminds you that he's Hitler.
Right.
And it's just like, no, you can't, no, ha ha ha, but like, no, fuck them Jews, right? Like, holy shit, like,
right.
And you get disarmed by that shit. You get disarmed by like the wilder people, right? Like there's where it's like, oh, look at this like little awkward like buddy comedy thing, but like there are serious moments to it, and then you're just like, oh shit, like Sam Neill's a real fucking asshole, man. Like,
yeah,
like what the fuck, man?
Right.
So, like you said, that's his skill.
Yeah, and look, that like this movie is going to deal with Jane having cancer and quite literally dying from it. Yes, this is fun and everything else, but like at the end of the trailer, one thing that you notice, like the thing is, you have to like look at these things. This is a thing I've noticed, and not people who are just fans of Zack Snyder's work, but these sort of like crazy bot type accounts, right?
Sycophants.
Yeah, they're sycophants. They actually don't understand the nuance of film. Like they really don't. So it's just like everything is very black and white, which I would argue is a lot of Zack Snyder's films. But like the last part of this trailer, the big fight scene where they show King Valkyrie taking on Gore and they show Thor taking on Gore. If you notice it, like the scene is literally devoid of color because that's the whole thing of like Gore wants like Gore's idea, like where the sword comes from is from Null and everything else. I don't know if they'll do that, but it's about taking the universe back to nothingness, right? Dark nothingness. And here you have this beautifully cinematic shot of this bright Thor or like this bright character in complete black and white. Like there is meaning behind that, right? Like quite literally wiping away all the color and fun of the universe to make it miserable, right? This dark, miserable fucking character. So there's a lot more to Taika Waititi's movies than just, oh, it's just fun. It's because you're missing the point. Because you're too busy staring at the big glowing thing that you've missed all of the underlying subtext of the films. Like, there's a reason why Jojo Rabbit was nominated for an Oscar, since, you know, his movies are so bad, right? Like, it was nominated for Best Screenplay that he wrote. Yeah. So, like, again, you don't know jack shit about films. You just like Superman beating a man into a building. I get it. I enjoy that kind of shit too. But like, nuance in film exists. There are different takes. Grow the fuck up. That same account you're talking about, most likely was like, well, look how they're treating Zeus versus how Zeus was treated in the Snyder Cut. And it's like, yeah, there's multiple interpretations of Zeus. Okay.
Yeah,
you know Zeus isn't real, right?
Multiple interpretations of a mythological figure. By the way, from all accounts, right, of the representation of Thor in Norse mythology, he don't look like this.
No, he's like a big guy. Hey, look a big guy.
Right, he's a big fat dude. He's a big fat dude who's kind of an asshole, right? Like there are different interpretations, but you know, it is what it is. I don't hate Zack Snyder's work, by the way. I'm really looking forward to Rebel Moon, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm looking forward to it, and I mean I think it's gonna be bad. But I'm looking forward.
I can't wait to see his version of Star Wars. Holy shit, man. The Ayn Randian version of Star Wars? Who's the villain? The rebels?
Where the fucking Empire wins and
right,
shit. Like the fucking Empire of the people you root for.
Right, they're gonna be like, so the end of the movie, like the bad guys won, are you gonna do a sequel? What sequel? Nah, yeah, that's the whole story.
Right.
I love
it. A bunch of fucking the Empire takes over, and everyone who you would think would be rebels would just be like, nah, bro, look out for your own. I got mine, you get yours. I'm just gonna fight this battle the way I want to fight it, and then you fight your battle the way you want to fight it, and let's just be real objectivists.
Yeah.
Like, all right. God, I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yo, his worldview taking on Star Wars is going to be wild. It's going to be wild. And then those same people are going to tell everybody how Star Wars should be just like Rebel Moon. That's what they want. It's going to be the greatest sci-fi movie ever. All right, cool. Could you just stop with your dumb bots? They're fucking useless. All right, that is all the trailers and all the stuff we have for this week. Thank you for sticking with us. And we will see you guys next week.
See ya.